the Greeks went and voted that they are not accepting the new bailout conditions, and that was leaving the market, or I should say was leaving the doors open for a good old-fashioned default on their debt. And as I warned over the weekend, that was gonna create a massive earthquake in the markets. Therefore, last night when market opened, it opened with a very nasty gap down, and then obviously, as any single monkey in this world would know, the Federal Reserves and the central banks from all over the world walked on each other's head and spent billions upon billions to support the market. This is what everybody should understand. This is the source of every misery. This is the source of every problem that we are witnessing right now. From the time where we got an imbecile by the name of a baldy bearded Ben Bernanke, who presided over two of the largest financial collapse we have seen in our history, one in our real estate market, then in our financial markets. And since his theory has been that you cannot be proactive in any way, form or fashion to avoid a crisis or to avoid a bubble until the situation gets to a point where it can't sustain itself anymore and it bursts, and only then you can step in and take measures. So what the silly man, what that criminal did, he paved the way that no matter what happens in this world, one thing and one thing alone is the solution, and it will fix the problem. And that is, you step foot on the printing machine and you announce to the whole world that you are going to print billions and pump in billions into the system, and just like this, like magic, your problem will disappear. What this is doing is it is giving people a fake sense of security and a fake sense that no matter what comes in front of us, all we have to do is to print and announce that we are printing and announce that we are spending, and everything else will take care of itself. So yesterday, the Chinese now learned this silly, dumb method of ours, and they announced that they're going to print and spend $20 billion to support their markets. The Japanese did the same yesterday. And us, again today, we did the same. As a result, what we can see was a phenomenal bounce from the overnight low, which was roughly 2033-ish, to a close of 2067, where pretty much we erased and took back everything that we lost on the crisis of Greece. Now, if you believe that that's it, one nation went bankrupt, its poor people have no access to a dime, their banks are closed, trillions of dollars of investment in Greece investments will disappear. If you believe that that's it, we solved it today, be my very guest and go sell the house, go sell the car, go sell the dog, raise every penny that you can and buy yourself this market. If you believe that this is the silliest thing that you have ever seen, the most arrogant response to a crisis, which is just go ahead and print the money and put the money and pump the market up, then you need to be very, very careful, because the Federal Reserve and the central banks are paving the way to a disaster. A disaster. Because the day and the time will come when market will pass time of responding to printing and spending and manipulating. And when that time will come, then God bless Janet Yellen, the woman. God bless Barack Hussein Obama, the president. God bless Mrs. Merkel of Germany. God bless Mr. Draghi of Central Bank of Europe, and Mr. Xing Zhang of China, and whoever else that is in this business of printing and artificially manipulating markets. What could be expected from here on? Everything is wide open. It is wild, wild west, and nobody knows what will happen next. All I know is that as a rational human being, when I look around the world, and when I cannot name a single place on this planet where there is peace and prosperity, I am a bit concerned. Now, I may be a complete fool and I'm looking the wrong direction. It is possible. But that's how I feel, and I don't have a good feeling about what I see. Therefore, today's bounce to me was absolutely 1000% fake, 1000% Federal Reserve induced, and these fake, phony manipulations on the back of a real crisis will be short-lived. Now, with that put aside, obviously now the first level of resistance that we need to clear is 2071 to 73. Once we clear that, then you can throw your hat up in the air, because then we're gonna go tackle 2081. And if we can pierce back through the main trend line that we did break, obviously we are wide open to go for a retest of the high. And if we can do that, you know what? God bless greed, God bless arrogance, and God bless stupidity, because we will show that we have all of the items combined together at a very, very dangerously toxic rate. If we do not pierce through 2071, tomorrow morning you can wake up and a bad news can come up and we will be again down to 2050. So I will not give much of a support resistance level, because nothing really matters when market is full of emotion in one hand and full of manipulation and desperate Federal Reserve and central banks around the globe. Anything can happen and anything could go. If you feel that this market is too volatile and you cannot handle it, my best advice to you is that it's summer, take a little vacation, go somewhere and come back when this whole mess is finished with. Now, the punishment that was supposed to kick into the market did not kick in the right market, but it did kick in the wrong market, which was an absolute, complete, catastrophic collapse, destruction of crude oil. Now you're gonna go and ask me, what's the relationship, Reza, between crude oil and a Greek default? I will tell you that I have absolutely no clue, nor an understanding why crude oil was punished at the rate that it was, based on this Greek news. Now, was it supposed to come down? Yes, because as I mentioned in my last report, we did break a very important triangle up there, and the break of the triangle was extremely successful on a closing basis, and therefore what we witnessed here is not abnormal at all. But the severity of the drop of today to me was a little bit shocking. Next level of significant support is going to be 52. We cannot hold this 52 area, then we are going to go tackle 49 again, at which point we should find significant level of support and a possible triple bottom here, and a good bounce should come through from that 49.50 level. So now 49.50 level to me is a very attractive long-term buy, assuming that we come to the level non-stop with a continuous drop, which would then completely exhaust itself when we do approach 49 to 50 level. As of right now, your first level of resistance zone comes in at 53.55 and then 53.90. Within that zone we should find a whole bunch of selling coming in, and if we cannot pierce through that on the upside, either we are going to find some support down here because it is so oversold, and we're gonna trading range within the low of today and the 53.90 to 53.60, or we're going to continue the breakdown until we do reach 49 to 50. A little touch on the euro here, which is kind of interesting because it seems to me that many are playing the dumb bet. The dumb bet is to come and look at an instrument or a currency that has already taken a massive amount of beating. When this was dropping, you see, this is all the insider politicians, all the cousins and the uncles of Mr. Trichet, of the finance minister, ex-finance minister of Greece, the representative of the central banks that they knew that their F-ups was going to create the Greek disaster, so they all bailed out for no reason. When it was at 1.4 and it was coming down and coming down and coming down and coming down, and everybody was why? This is why. They knew ahead of you and ahead of me and ahead of everybody else the disaster that their mismanagement and their incompetence has created. Now that we are down here and every card is on the table, that we all know what Greece has done and the potential that it can have in terms of widening of this crisis, the dumb money now is stepping in, shorting at these levels, thinking that, oh my goodness, I'm going to short at 1.10 and then it's going to go in 2 days to 0 and I'm going to become a millionaire. And then they come in, bad news comes out, euro doesn't go down. Bad news comes down, euro doesn't come down. And it is a very typical thing to happen when the dumb, stupid, late money comes in at the end of a crisis, wanting to eat the breadcrumbs, looking that there will be much left for them to benefit from it. And that's not how it works. So now you start to be very careful here, because if euro doesn't continue to respond to all this pile of bad news, all they need to do is to push this thing up a little bit higher, clear through this area of 1.15, and you're gonna see yourself a nasty, massive short covering rally to kick in. So with euro on the short side at these levels, I would start to be careful because it is clear that it is not responding any longer to whatever hell it is that is going on over there. And if that's the case, all the ones that are piling, shorting late here will get cut. It's a matter of time. To clear, we have to exit above 1.1150. 1.1150. Downside, there is a bit of support at this naked POC of 1.0947. That is assuming that we go down and reach it, but it's very clear that the last two sessions, they didn't give a rat damn about what happened to Greece. And that doesn't surprise me at all, because I can definitely see a very vicious bull trap or a bear trap to be built down here. Because this cow has already been milked. This cow has saggy tits hanging to the ground as much as it has been milked already in the short side. So if the downside doesn't show up soon, be prepared for a very nasty short covering rally. That's it for today. As usual, thank you for listening. I caution everybody to be very vigilant in these markets. These are not your regular market condition, but then you're gonna tell me when was a time where we got a regular market condition in the last 6 to 7 years, where almost every damn day it's a situation of crisis going on. But it's the nature of our business, and no way that we can avoid it. Have a great evening. Talk to you tomorrow.